So before we get into the news, though, there's something I wanted to talk about. We talked about this a little bit last week on the program towards the end. But I had talked, and I talked a lot about it with Papa Woody on the post show last week. But we have been working on trying to branch out and try to find new audiences. And part of that, being that I am a broadcaster and that I work in radio, part of that has been making a significant pitch to terrestrial radio on maybe taking a chance on doing a video game show. And we've gotten some very, very, I don't want to say high powered, but we've got people who make decisions on a programming level. Yeah, they are they like what they hear.
Okay.
And what they heard was about 20 minutes of this show. Was maybe the best 20 minutes of that this show has done.
Woo, get high.
So that being said, we are looking at ways to not necessarily take this show, but make more content and make it in a way that is for a radio-friendly audience. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we're going to be looking at very closely moving forward. And, I mean, you guys have known that this show is funded by your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio since the show began. That was the impetus for us starting this show. And for us to keep it weekly, it's got to stay at $2,000 over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. We're currently sitting at like $1,775. So the first thing is that there is some real buzz around this program. There is some real enthusiasm surrounding this program and surrounding this idea. And a lot of that is thanks to you guys and how loyal of listeners you guys have been and how much you guys have been moving the needle at places like iTunes and places like YouTube. I mean, there was one, our PlayStation, our Sony conference got like something like 3,000 or 4,000 hits. That's awesome. That's great. That's a great thing to be able to show to somebody in that position to go, look, we've got a proven track record that people are interested in the things that we have to say. And so, I think that I'm looking to use some of my own connections that I've formed in a professional capacity to try to merge both. I consider what I do here an extension of my professional life, but make it into one kind of unified and cohesive thing. Okay. And we're starting to make some real strides towards that, which is really amazing. And that's awesome. And I really want to see you guys continue to show your support, whether it just be through listening, whether it be through, watching the show, commenting in the chat room, sending us email at finalencountercast@gmail.com. All of these things really help in terms of the interaction. Callers, I love it when we get callers. Callers are awesome. By the way, if you want to be a caller to Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764. And all of these little pieces of expansion that we've been doing over the last year or so that we've had this program up and running has really made me feel like, okay, like there is a need for this in a local market and that you can sell it in a local market. And I think that we can do that. And I think that we have the talent to be able to do that in a major market and in a very visible way. So for all of the support that you guys have given us over at patreon.com, I just first want to thank you. And then secondly, I want to say that, look, we're doing our due diligence to do our part to make sure that this product continues to expand and grow. And so while you're doing your part, I know that, we've got to show that we're doing our part at the same time too. So this is just a way to bring you guys up to speed in terms of what we're doing internally to try to move the product forward. And so every dollar that we get at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio, we so appreciate. But here's what we're going to be doing. In the future, we're going to be moving a little bit away from finalencountercast.com and from twitch.tv/finalencountercast. And for a little bit, we're even actually going to be moving away from Limit Break Radio. And we're going to unify all three of our shows, Final Encountercast, Refresh, and Limit Break Radio, on twitch.tv/LBR Network. Now, it's live. You guys can go follow it now if you want. but we don't have any of the tertiary stuff set up around that. There's still some setup that needs to happen. We're working on a website, and we want that to unify Refresh and Final Encountercast and Limit Break Radio, but we're going to keep limitbreakradio.com up and operating. Okay, if that makes sense. So we're going to be bringing everything under the banner of LBR Network. Now, we've said a couple of times on the program that LBR does not stand for Limit Break Radio. It stands for Let's Be Real. That's what we decided is going to be the name of the network. We feel like that is what represents the content that we make. We wanted to keep the LBR acronym, obviously, because of the success of Limit Break Radio, and try to extend the brand recognition to our other products. And so we wanted to try to come up with a equally catchy acronym that had LBR. And after we sat on it for a while, we came up with the Let's Be Real Network.
That was seriously like 2 months of us arguing over what that acronym should stand for.
Yeah, seriously. And so we're really excited. I think that this is a great way to do it. I mean, for a while we had considered Let's Be Real for the name of the program. That was going to be the name of this program.
Yeah, and basically what this allows us to do, because, originally when we came with Final Encountercast, Nate was like two separate things, separate accounts, separate everything. But then when Refresh took off, what, you're looking at doing a third website?
Yeah.
And third accounts? No. It's much better, and it's going to be better for us, for you, for the product, for everything in the long run when we come up with a new show, to just put it under Let's Be Real. Because in every case, even though we're playing and talking about games, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we're at 3 shows now, but if we keep growing, that number will continue to grow as well.
Yep.
That's the other thing.
I have a new show in mind too, to replace the Late Late Show with Robbie Landis.
That's the other thing too, is that the more funding that we get, the more that we work towards launching other products. And if you look at what we're trying to do with terrestrial radio and trying to get a show on normal radio, that's sort of an extension of that. We're trying to find another avenue outside of asking for you to step up to the plate and to fund another program. We're trying to find somebody else to come to the table to recognize their talent that we produce here and say, look, we want you to produce something for us. And I think that that's the next step. And I sort of see Let's Be Real as a production company.
Yes, that's something that, as a new content creator who who doesn't already have an established audience like we happen to have with LBR, which let's be real.
Let's be real.
If it wasn't for LBR, Final Encountercast would be probably another hole in the ground.
I mean, it really is.
I mean, yeah.
It's difficult. It's a challenge to try to get people to pay attention to specifically gaming talk content, because there is such a wealth of it on the internet. And this is where I really think that the local radio aspect comes in, because there's none of it on local radio. It succeeds so well in the internet marketplace that you can come up with a local version of what we do here, talk about the things that are going on in your local gaming community, such as local tournaments, local gatherings, and also look towards the gaming industry for your discussion topics and things.
A lot of people in our chat right now joking about, can I get my own show? Can I get blah 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 blah?
Well, of course, Will's in there, and
the Mismatcher
I give Will his own show.
Yeah, but and here's the thing.
You know what? Let's pair Will up with Mismatcher. They wouldn't know what to do.
That's the program we've been waiting for.
But the point is, yes, if you can come up with a product with a quality product, right?
Yeah.
That we think has legs, then absolutely, you make it and we put it up on our RSS feed. We put it up on our website.
Absolutely.
We push it out there.
Yes.
For people to find. So if you think that you have a quality product, babies in the background, dogs in the background, neighbors banging on the wall, not quality product. But if you have a quality, if you have a quality product, then yes, absolutely, make a pitch, because that's what we're looking to do.
Yeah, absolutely. When we talk about expansion, we are talking about launching more content. And our main goal is to make sure that we launch funded content. And the reason that is important to me, and I don't want to speak for anyone else, but the reason that it's really important to me to have funded content is because I respect and I value all of your guys' time. And one of the things that I was so proud of with LBR is being able to compensate you, Robbie, you, Chris, you, Callie, and Nika as well.
Not you, Woody.
I know.
We don't.
Not yet.
Not yet.
right.
But.
Maybe someday.
And that's the thing, is that I'd like to. We cover the expenses for Woody to get here, but I would like to pay him for his time. He does work when he's here. He hosts a show. I want to pay him for his talent. I want to pay you guys for your talent. You guys are talented people, and if I feel like if I don't pay you, that there's easily somebody else who will step in and recognize your talent and who will pay you and who will fairly compensate you for your time, your energy, and your effort. And I can't do that. I feel bad because Will and Joe, they do the show because they love it. Like we did Refresh for, like almost 2 years, and we did it for love, and it was fun, and we're all good friends, and we hang out at that time anyway. And it kills me that they come in and work. They come in here and work and perform, and I'm not able to compensate them. I want to be able to compensate them. It is a goal of mine to be able to compensate them. So if we're going to be coming up with new shows, then it should be contingent on the fact that you can be paid for your talent. You can be paid for your time and effort. That's something that is very important to me, because there are a lot of other content networks out there, whether they be YouTube, whether they be Twitch-based, whether they be podcast networks, and they make a lot of promises. And they come around and they say, look, we can pay you. We can, and after 6 months, you'll get paid, but then after 6 months, it just falls off. We've seen YouTube content creators become parts of networks and leave networks very quickly all the time, okay? It's really, really important for you guys to support something like this, because I feel it's important to be transparent about the money that we take in and the way that we use it. And to me, being able to pay you guys is like the biggest cornerstone of what we do.
I'll send you my consultation fee.
Firewall is in the chat.
Hey!
Kookie!
Woo! That's what's up.
Kookie, are you one of those people who takes a day off work and then shows up at work?
I think she is.
Obviously.
Okay, that's pretty much all I wanted to... Oh, and